Hi guys, I'm here to show you SumBlox Bridges. SumBlox Bridges is an activity that we've used in classrooms and in different settings to teach various skills. Advanced addition, subtraction, and problem solving. Now how the game works is that each student gets 3 piles of combinations here of numbers, and these combinations need to equal up to two pillars of 20. And we'll show you in a minute how we do that and how we can make it a little more difficult as it goes along. But basically, kids are trying to construct 2 pillars of 20 units high, after which they put an 8 on top to signify that they're equal, and they move on to the next tower. Once they've completed the 3 piles into towers, they're done. And if they finish before their peers, you know that you can offer them a prize. That's how they win. And that it's a fun game where kids can race against each other and learn some speed with some of the skills that they're learning. And so with this activity, it reinforces 3 major components. It reinforces addition, obviously because you're adding up different numbers to equal 20. And these are some of the skills like add-ins to 10, where you can combine 2 numbers to equal 10, and then 2 more numbers to equal 20, and continue. And that works with a lot of these towers. And we'll go on to explain how we can make that a little harder, and sometimes it doesn't always work. It also teaches subtraction. Now, with addition, if you understand the combinations of 2 numbers up to 10, you can really combine those numbers. With any math problem, you can work forward by combining numbers up to 10 and then moving on to the next group of 10 and so on. Say for instance, you get 8 and 4. You can split 4 into 2, complete 8 to equal 10 with 1, 2, and then you can move on and so on. With subtraction, it's just much easier if instead of looking at it as taking away, you look at it as the difference from. And so like if you get a problem 15 minus 7, it's much easier if you just know the combinations up to 20. So you can just know the combination of what 7 plus what number is to equal 15. And then that makes it much faster. And that's what SumBlox can really help, is it helps kids learn those combinations of 20, so when they approach subtraction or while they're doing subtraction, those are just really intuitive and they can do them really, really fast. And then lastly, it really helps with problem solving, much more so than, I think, than paper math, because there's not just one way to do it oftentimes. They're trying to figure it out for themselves, and then they learn as they go, which is great. So what we've done here, after explaining how the game works, and if I could just reiterate that, kids are trying to build 2 pillars up to 20 units high, so they're level, and then place an 8 block on top. And then go to the next group of blocks, build that as fast as they can until they have all the towers, the bridges built. And ideally they're the first one to complete the bridges. So we've divided these up into 3 piles because I wanted to show you how you can make some easy bridges, some medium ones, and then some harder ones. Now the easy one has multiple ways of doing it. You can do it with the add-ins to 10. So you can do it with, there we go. It's tricky with the camera. 7, 7 and 3. And then we just put an 8 on top and a 2, and of course the 5s go together to make 10 as well. We have 20 units, equal height, place a 10, an 8 on top, and we're good to go to the next one. Now this one's easy because it has multiple ways of doing it. Kids could do that out of memory for the add-ins to 10, and that works out really well. Or there's other ways to combine it. They could combine it, let's see. Instead of using a 5 and a 5, they could use a 2, a 3 and a 5, and then they could combine the 5 and the 8. And so if kids are just going through there and experimenting, they'll probably figure this one out pretty quickly, and that's great, because you want to give kids something that they can accomplish really quick. And the medium one really only has one way to accomplish the towers, and that's through the add-ins of 10. And you can do that through combining 5 and 5, 6 and 4, 7 and 3, and then a 2 and an 8. And of course, you can switch these around as long as they're just the individual components just equal 10. You can switch it around however you want to do it. So there are multiple ways, I suppose, that you can do it in that regard. And then we just put an 8 on top, and that one's complete. Now the last one is a little bit difficult because you have, as you can see, we have bigger numbers. Kids might immediately jump in and try to throw 2 5s together to have the add-ins to 10, and then try to find the next group of 10, which they can't because there isn't one. And so this really requires kids to kind of get out of their comfort zone, start problem solving and experimenting with larger combinations, and do some creative math problem solving. You know, perhaps one way they could do it is they could look at 2 numbers like the 7 and the 8, and they could say, well, 8 plus 2 is 10, and 7 plus 3 is 10. So 7 is missing 3, 8 is missing 2, that equals 5. So they could say, okay, if we put these together, that's right, that's going to equal 20. And then if they try to combine the last ones, they'll find out that indeed the rest of the numbers equal 20 as well. So that's a fun way. Kids can experiment with something a little bit more difficult. They can find their own way of doing it, and hopefully it develops more advanced problem solving and math skills, and then they can finish that. And that is it. That's it for SumBlox Bridges. The first kid who wins the race, and you can give them whatever prize you want. We found that they had a lot of fun. Hopefully this has been instructional for you, and we hope you enjoy using it. Thanks a lot.